Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things, and sometimes very classic literature. Today's book is Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. Not Charlotte, not Emily, but Anne, the other one of the three sisters. So let's get into it. So I got this book from my local library and I've already returned it. So I don't have the physical book with me, so I can't really draw notes and things, but I did take notes in my notebook. This one is supposed to have drawn very heavily on the author's own experiences as a governess. It's representative of the daily duties and abuses of the working woman of the 1800s. It's written very matter of fact. It's got a very realist point of view style, where her sisters, Charlotte and Emily, were more of the romantic style. So these are the facts, this is how it is, this is how it was, deal with it, almost kind of a feel. So the main plot is that Agnes Grey, our main character, her father is he's not a priest. He's in the church. He's involved in the church, and he's lost all of the family money in a screwball get-rich-quick scheme kind of a deal. And so Agnes goes off to make money so she can send it home so that they don't starve, essentially. And she becomes a governess for this absolutely horrid family. They've got bickering parents, they've got a sociopathic son, an insolent, spoiled daughters, and somehow all of it is Agnes Grey's fault. That she can't control the children, so it's her fault. Like, the little boy tortures animals and like smashes birds' eggs, and the parents are just like, oh, he's having fun. And it's like, those are hallmarks of a serial killer. Like, I realize I'm putting modern respectabilities onto characters written in a time period where we may not have known these things. But I like to feel that killing harmless animals and torturing animals isn't cute and was never actually cute. Like, that's the world I like to live in, is that these things are reprehensible no matter when you're doing them. Extended family of the family that she's taking care of come to visit, and they encourage the children to be little sociopaths. And Agnes Grey is so ill-used and put upon that she's just like, oh, well, I'm a governess. I've lost my tail. Like, she's so put upon about everything that I just kind of wanted to shake the character and be like, come on, honey, get it together. She's like, I know you're in an impossible situation, but come on. Like, you've got to do something. And eventually she is fired. She's sacked. And she heads back to the parsonage to regroup. And her father is very ill, and Heath claims he's very near his death. And so she goes and she gets another job, this time at Horton Lodge. And the family is not much better. This is the family that we stick with through the end of the book. The oldest kid, Rosalie, just sucks. Like, she's just awful. Like, she's like I kind of wondered if she had ADHD along with being very privileged and being very princessy. Like, she's like, oh, I like embroidery. I'm bored. You finish it and I'll take the credit. Like, that's literally one of the things her character does. And her younger sister, Martha, is just insolent and described by Agnes Grey in the book as barbarous and ignorant. And I think that's a rather apt description. And then John is rough as a bear, but he goes off to school. And then Charles is petty, childish, and capricious, not given the chance to learn because his parents are like, oh, he's struggling with the word. Just tell him what it is. Don't let him sound it out. Don't let him try to read it. Just tell him what the word is. And I was like, how's he going to learn? Like, you're going to send him off to school. He's a boy. He's going to get sent off to school, but he's not going to know a damn thing. Nevertheless, Agnes Grey endures, and the girls turn man-hungry and downright scandalous, and there's a new rector who's very amiable to Agnes Grey, and blah, blah, blah. And the whole thing, like, in the Wikipedia article on the book, it's mentioned that Jane Austen was an inspiration for the other two sisters. I don't think she's listed as an inspiration for Anne Bronte, but I can definitely feel the Austen influence in this. And it feels like it's trying to be Mansfield Park without having the gumption and the stick-to-itiveness that Fanny Price has. Like, it feels like she's trying to... It feels like she's trying to do Mansfield Park. This book isn't very long. I think it's on audiobook, it's about 8 hours. But it's so tedious that it felt so much longer. And it's not the writing style, it's not the language, because I like 19th century literature quite a bit, and I read quite a bit of it. This one was originally published in 1847. It's just, it feels... It's not as engaging as Jane Eyre, it's not as moody as Wuthering Heights, and it's not as well written as even the one I consider to be the worst Jane Austen novel, Northanger Abbey. Like, it's not any of those. It falls short of all of these, and I think that's kind of why Anne Bronte has been left aside largely by history, that she's been put aside and just kind of passed over to a certain extent, is that she's not as good as her sisters. I hate to say that, but I just don't think she's as good as her sisters, and she's not as good as her contemporaries, and she's just not great. Like, it's impressive that she wrote it. It's impressive that the stylistic choices are interesting choices to have made. The characters are very well rounded. They feel like real people, but none of the characters feel like someone I want to know. And it doesn't feel like there's really any growth to any of the characters. So while I don't want to know them, unlike, say, take in the Austen universe, you have Emma. Emma is the villain of her own story for the first part of it. Everything that goes wrong in the story is Emma's fault. But she grows, she learns, she overcomes, she becomes a better person. None of these characters want to be better people. They're like, oh, I'm perfect just the way I am. And the author's like, yes, you are. You're going to stay that way. And it's like, ugh, no, please no. Have you read Agnes Grey? Did you take anything different away from it? Do you have a favorite Bronte sister? I am quite a fan of Jane Eyre. I hated Wuthering Heights, but not as much as I hated Agnes Grey. So, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you like classic literature? Do you like 19th century literature? Or are you more of a Georgian kind of person? That 18th century literature? I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.